Welcome into Seahawks Today, presented by Manscaped. Manscaped.com, promo code Seahawks for 20% off your next purchase, plus free shipping. On today's show, we are talking about a number of topics, including what former Seahawk Richard Sherman had to say about Coby Bryant. Also, Baker Mayfield, the latest on his move from Cleveland, wherever that will be. And we'll also talk about a Seahawks draft trade that almost happened. All that and more coming up on today's show. Before we get going, though, our question of the day. I want to hear from you guys. How old are you? Age is just a number, as they say. Tell me what you guys are when it comes to that number. I'm 25 personally. This month I'll be 26, but I'm very curious what you guys are to get a little demographic test on our audience here. We want to know your age. So tell us in the comments below. And, if you don't want to tell us your age, that's fine. I understand. But, we would love to hear from you guys. You get some interaction. Give us a little survey there, how old you are. Tell us in the comments section here on Seahawks Today. Let's get started with Coby Bryant, the Seahawks fourth-round selection, pick number 109, which a lot of people are calling the steal of the draft. And Richard Sherman, former Seahawk, was on his podcast, the Richard Sherman Show, talking about the draft by the Seahawks and the selection of Bryant. Here's what he had to say. I liked Coby Bryant with the Seahawks. I really like that pick. I thought he would go sooner. I think to win a Thorpe and go in the fourth round is wild. Like sometimes these assessments, I'm like, bro, what could these kids have done? More from Sherman. Maybe run a little faster. This kid wins the Thorpe and goes in the fourth round. I'm sure he's incredibly disappointed in that, but I think the Seahawks got a steal. I think he'll be a long-time starter for them. So, kind words from Richard Sherman in regards to Coby Bryant coming to the Seattle Seahawks in that fourth-round selection. Personally, I love the pick of Coby Bryant. It blows my mind that this guy was available when he was for the Seahawks there in the fourth round, coming off winning the Thorpe Award for the best defensive back in college football. He's got the size, the body frame, maybe a little bit slower, but at the end of the day, this guy can play. Here's the scouting report on Bryant from our own Tom Down. A lot of experience, but a major competition jump is coming, as you would expect from somebody going from the group of five to the National Football League. Willing tackler, only missed 3 tackles in 2021, allowed too many big plays at times for Cincinnati. Tom had him as the number 13 cornerback in our rankings and the number 97 player overall. So that's the evaluation there on Bryant, as he is one of the newest members of the Seattle Seahawks. I really like the pick. We'll see what he does for the Seahawks in 2022. Coming up in just a moment, we'll have an update on Baker Mayfield with some news from ESPN's Dianna Russini. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you guys show some love to Coby Bryant. What a great pick it was, and we mentioned that a lot of people are calling this the steal of the draft. How about you give some love to Coby in our video here? You're going to get an ad break. While that ad is going on, go ahead and hit that like button, and then when the ad finishes, then you'll see more of our coverage here on Seahawks Today. But get that like button to show your love for Coby Bryant on that fourth-round selection in Seattle. So, Dianna Russini, who I love, Diana's fantastic, good friend of mine. Here's what she had to say on Ryan Russillo's podcast about the Baker Mayfield situation with the Cleveland Browns. And Russini said the Cleveland Browns do not want to take on that contract, the $18 million he's owed. They don't want to pay for that. I don't know the number they're willing to go to, but the last I checked, which was about a week and a half ago, they want nothing to do with that deal. If you want Baker Mayfield, you're going to pay that money. Cleveland's not going to try to split it up with you. Now, as far as the Seahawks go on that realm, Russini says, the Seahawks have been telling me from day one they have no interest in Baker Mayfield. They're riding Drew Lock, which we can talk about with another time. That's their choice. So, there's the situation. The latest report from Russini says that Baker Mayfield in Seattle, that there's not interest there at this point. Now, look, with where the Seahawks have gone so far at this point in the offseason, I don't think that they're bringing in Baker Mayfield right now. Now, that could change, but at this point in time, all signs point to that they are committed to this quarterback room for this year. The fact that they did not draft a quarterback and the fact that they have said all these things about Drew Lock, that they went out and brought back Geno Smith, they've had opportunity after opportunity to bring in Baker Mayfield at this point, and right now he's still a member of the Cleveland Browns. So, I would like to see Baker in Seattle. That's no secret if you've been watching this show, but I just don't see that happening at this point in time. We'll have more on Baker Mayfield and show you some odds of where he will end up in 2022. But before we do that, I got to tell you about my guys at Manscaped, and they're just the best in the biz. They have this new smooth package that is on sale right now, the Ultra Smooth Package, $31.99 with the promo code Seahawks at checkout. That's at manscaped.com. And you asked for it, they listened. And this is a relaunch, the new favorite tool and complement to the Lawnmower 4.0 to keep your boys smooth while looking and feeling their best. The specialized grooming shaving kit is here to help you buff, protect, and shave your most sensitive areas. It's time to crop that bush off yours and get right to the roots with the discount just for you from Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with the code Seahawks. So week one odds for Baker Mayfield and where he'll play. Right now, the Browns are still the favorite at minus 220. Now, there is a belief that Baker Mayfield could start for the Browns while Deshaun Watson is suspended and be an audition of some sorts for a midseason trade for somebody potentially. So at minus 220, the favorite is for him to stay in Cleveland. But then when you look beyond that, the Panthers at plus 275, the Seahawks at 290, the Texans at plus 650, and the Atlanta Falcons at 1,500. One team I want to rule out, too, the New York Giants, I think, is a possibility as well for Baker Mayfield to end up in a destination like New York there. But the Seahawks, I think at this point in time, it just seems very unlikely, the idea of him ending up in Seattle at this point in time. But we'll see. Up next here on Seahawks Today, let's talk about a potential draft trade that almost went down with the Seahawks. We'll have that for you in one moment. But before we do, I want to hear from you guys in the comments section. Where will Baker Mayfield play in 2022, week one? That first game of the season, where will it be? Will it be in Seattle? Will it be somewhere else? Tell us in the comments section. You're going to get an ad. Take advantage of it and tell us where you think Baker Mayfield ends up week one. So a new report came out this week after the draft that the Seahawks nearly made a draft night trade with the New York Jets. And essentially what would have happened was that the Seahawks would have swapped their number 9 pick to the number 10 pick. The Jets moving up one spot, and there would have been some compensation worked out in one of the later rounds for the Seahawks at their number 9 selection. Ultimately, it didn't happen. The Jets were looking to move up with the idea of getting wide receiver Garrett Wilson. The Seahawks did not want to trade down because they didn't want to miss out on Charles Cross. Now, ultimately, looking back, hindsight's 2020, right? The Seahawks could have made this trade and still had Charles Cross at 10. And the Jets still ended up with Garrett Wilson anyway at 10. So I guess it all worked out. Everybody got the player they wanted anyway. But it is something to think about. A what if? What if the Seahawks would have gone through with that trade? It would have been nice, but at the end of the day, I don't think this is anything to sweat over too much because you still got the player that you wanted in Charles Cross. I'm very high on him. I think that he's the best pass protector tackle in this draft. There's reason to be excited and optimistic about him. And although you would have still been able to get him at 10 if you made the trade, this was the safe bet. And we saw from this Seahawks team throughout this draft, they went with the safe picks. Kenneth Walker III, Boy Mafe and company. Those guys, Coby Bryant, finding him in the 4th round. That was the theme of this draft, that they made smart selections. The Seahawks didn't take a whole lot of gambles here, but I would say that it paid off for them. And you can see with that trade that they did not take ultimately worked out for them still at the end of the day. Now, before we go, we want to thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. We are over 26,361 subscribers here. And one of the things that you guys asked earlier in the week was if I would do a Gatorade bath when we get to 30,000 subscribers. And hell yeah, I'm up for it. We will do a Gatorade bath on this channel when that day comes, when we get to 30,000 subscribers. So make sure that you're subscribed. Like the video if you want me to do the Gatorade bath. And people have already said we got to do it with Seahawk colors. We got to get some blue and green Gatorade. So we'll make that happen. But we got to get there first. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Make sure you're subscribed and be a part of what we're doing each and every day here on Seahawks Today.